So anyway, we're bringing on our first guest, and we are able to celebrate with her because she has published her 50th book.
Ooh.
So welcome, and Yahrah's been on the show before. So welcome back, Yahrah St. John. That's the name she goes by as a writer. Welcome back to Black Authors Matter TV, and congratulations on your recent celebration of your anniversary. Well, your 50th book anniversary. We say that. So thank you so much for being on the show again.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
We're excited
Okay.
to have you. Thank you for being here.
And you just got back from a trip with your hubby. So tell us about where you went and give it just a little wrap up. You are
Oh,
always traveling. Seems like when I see your posts, you're either going somewhere or you're actually there
oh
with
yes.
pictures.
The hubby and I love to travel. And so we were celebrating our 8th anniversary on March 12th. So we took
Oh,
a cruise out of San Juan, Puerto Rico, and we went to Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, St. Kitts,
nice.
and St. Lucia. So it was very lovely. Great Norwegian cruise line boat.
Okay, I was
Very
going to ask you which cruise line.
Yeah, it was my first Norwegian cruise, and I absolutely loved it. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Okay, well, I haven't been to those destinations yet, but I cruise often. So I just haven't been to the port that you left out of. It goes, I think that, do they call it the Western Caribbean?
Southern Caribbean.
Southern Caribbean.
Southern
Okay, I knew
Caribbean.
it was a
Yeah.
different part. And those don't generally
Right.
don't
They don't
leave.
leave out of Florida. And even though I
Right,
live here in Florida, I get to cruise often too. But that's why we flew to Puerto Rico because we wanted the ability to go on some of those different ports that we wouldn't get to,
makes
easily.
sense.
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
yeah, I have to do that. It's on my bucket list.
Oh,
So anyway, and happy anniversary, happy 8th anniversary to you and your husband.
thank you.
I remember when you got married. Time goes by so fast.
Times. It does.
Yes, all kinds of great things happening for you, huh?
Yeah, it's been a nice little celebration here from, February, 25th being, the release of Breakpoint, my 50th book, and then, a couple of weeks later, my wedding anniversary. So yeah, it's been a great little run here.
That's
Well,
awesome. Awesome.
yeah, 50
Congratulations.
books is nothing to uh be
Sneeze
shy about.
at.
That's a lot of stories.
Oh, wait, hold the book up again. We can't do that in passing.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
and this is called Breakpoint. It's
What's
about tennis.
I was about to say that looks like tennis.
Yeah, yeah, sports romance.
Okay, so tell us about the story. What's going on the tennis court?
On the tennis court, Tegan is a former, minor league tennis player with, visions of grandeur, and she gets an injury and is unable to play tennis. But her first love, Dominic, goes on to become, a tennis star like, the big ones of the world. And I'm having a brain fart on the some of the men. Anywho. I'm thinking Serena, but anywho, so they meet years later, a decade later, and he's a tennis superstar, and she's, a real estate agent, and her business is down and out, and she joins a country club who is about to start a tennis tournament, and
Mhm.
they decide to tap into her being an ex tennis player, and lo and behold, he's taken a hiatus and the two of them reconnect after all these years. So it's kind of like that sports romance, but it's also a second chance romance, a rekindling, what they once had on the tennis courts.
Well,
I've been
well,
hearing more and more about the second chance romance as a trope.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I like the fact that it's going on the tennis court because tennis is going through a really big boom right now. There are a lot of not just African American but Black French players as well. And I'm here for it. I mean, my family and I have really gotten into tennis, so it's nice to see you take this sport that some people thought was only for white people or only for the elite, and you're bringing a really positive spotlight on it.
Yeah, they asked me because the first couple of books under the new Afterglow line kind of had a kind of athletic theme, if you will, from my yoga and ballet. And I wanted different things that you don't typically see, African Americans in. Those were different genres. I hadn't, you don't see African Americans in. I'd never written about them. Hadn't even taken a yoga class and knew nothing about ballet. But I was able to, tap into, a yoga instructor who I
Mhm.
knew, who helped me with Friend of Me Fix Up and going toe to toe with a friend who owned a ballet school. So, and then another friend of mine happened to play tennis. And right here in Lake Nona in Orlando, Florida, we have the national, what is it called? The USTA, where they
Yes,
all play here in Lake Nona.
U.S. Tennis Association.
Thank you, the U.S. Tennis Association. And and so I was able to go there and talk to people and get some insight to really help me with the book.
Well, I'm going to tell you now. I don't know if you've ever been to a tennis tournament.
I've not been.
You should go. It is, even if you don't, well, if you don't like tennis, you're going to like it when you go to the tennis tournament. But the whole event is a whole vibe. I live in the DC area,
Mhm.
and we have the DC Open, also called the Mubadala Open. And that was my first time going to a live tennis tournament. And there are tennis matches going on multiple courts. So you kind of get to choose. You can either get a all access ticket where you can see the big matches, or you can just get like a day pass and then just pop in and watch a tennis tournament. But the music, the food, the drinks, and just to watch everybody cheering for their favorite tennis player, you've got to go.
It's a
In
vibe.
fact, come visit me. Come visit me in DC this summer, and I will take you to the Mabala tournament.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. I like that.
Yeah. I'm drawing up. I can't remember where are Venus and Serena from. Are they from? Do
They're
y'all
from
remember?
Compton.
Oh,
Yeah,
Compton. That's right.
I'm
That's
from
right. So
Cali.
not definitely not DC. It's all the way on the other
No,
side of the country.
Francis Tiafo, who's a black tennis player, he's from the DC area.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I watched the movie with Will Smith and everything too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
Richard.
King Richard,
Richard, yes.
and he did a good job with that.
He did.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The circumstances after
Yeah, well, that's why I said we're gonna say he did a good job in the
but
movie.
his acting in the movie was
Yes.
well done.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. He's perfected the role, I think, of because he did the same thing in The Pursuit of Happiness. You know, the dad that's
Mhm.
trying to make things work with their kid, but in Pursuit of Happiness, he was really going through some stuff. But that was based on a true story.
Yeah.
But anyway, so do you play tennis at all, Yara? Do you
I
watch tennis or play
absolutely
tennis?
don't play a lick of tennis. My dad,
And
um, um, rest in peace, he loved tennis. He would watch it. I would come down and he'd be watching it for hours and hours, just sitting. He had his man cave down in the basement, where he had
yes.
his TV set up with his big, reclining, chair, and he would just go all in for hours watching the US Open, the French Open, just watching all of it. He just loved it. And so I'd been exposed to it and I'd watched it with him a little bit and he would try to explain it to me and everything. But I never got that love of it like he did. So yeah, it's funny that I would decide to write a book about
Well, writing this book, you had to learn a little bit more about the
I
sport. Do
did.
you think it's kind of sparked an interest? Do you want to watch it a little bit more now?
Yeah, I do. I want to watch it a little bit more now, because now I think I understand it a little bit better and understand the back and forth and just what some of the terms and everything mean. So, as you said, sometimes, I've never loved baseball, but when my dad used to take me to a live baseball game, like you said, the energy of the people,
Yes.
the excitement, and having hot dog and peanuts with
Oh,
dinner.
going to a live baseball game is so fun.
Oh, fun. So I
And,
can
we're
definitely.
blessed to have two baseball teams near us, because we have the Washington Nationals, or
Mhm.
you can go down the street to Baltimore and see the Baltimore Orioles. And
Mhm.
I've been to both stadiums, and it's a relaxing. It's don't go in the depth of summer though. Oh my goodness, the sun is right on you.
But
Make
yeah,
sure you bring a hat.
I'm from Chicago, so we had the two teams as well, the Cubs and the White Sox.
Yes,
So
yes.
we could pick whichever, and so got to go to quite a few games, and yeah, you just love it when you go live. So I can definitely see how going to a live tennis match could be really exciting. It sounds fun.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
we
you think you're gonna write some more tennis centered books now that you're starting to get an appreciation for it?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I hadn't thought about writing another,
Yeah,
but
we need a part two.
yeah, oh, part two. Yeah, if it's so well received, yeah. There might be a part two. Who knows?
Like
Gems
that.
could make a reappearance.
now is this the last book in the series? Because I know
It
it's
is. It is. It's kind
okay.
of bittersweet, because I've been writing it for like 3 years.
Oh wow.
Oh,
So it's almost like two books a year, just about. So to go from, and then I started them with the Desire line with different covers, so halfway in the middle of my series, the Desire line closes, but I felt to for myself and for my readers that I wanted to finish the series. I don't like leaving things unfinished. And
Right.
there were stories that I still had to tell. I had still three other Jim's stories to tell. And I was proud that I talked to Harlequin and they were with me, but they're like, hey, it's going to be three different covers and three new covers concepts. But yeah, I was finally able to finish the whole series and see it to the end. So I'm really proud of that.
okay. I was speaking at an event on Saturday to a book club that was celebrating like this, and I'm trying to get the president of the book club on the show, but they have been in existence since 1967. And
Wow.
I have never heard of a book club where the original founders have all passed away,
Oh,
all
Wow.
of them, but the later members kept it going.
that's fantastic.
So, but they were asking questions from the audience, and they asked, it was me and another author, actually, Phyllis Dixon, who's been on the show, Rhonda.
Hmm.
And you've interviewed her on when she came to the festival, I think. But she writes more women's fiction. But they asked us, was writer's block a real thing? And how do you overcome it? So uh, we said, yes, it is a real thing. And so with you having 50 books, what are some of the tools you use, strategies for overcoming writer's block?
I'm actually going through my first ever writer's block as we speak. Believe it or not,
Mm.
after 20 years of being a published author, and now I think for me, I think the writer's block just came from working full time and
Yes.
writing as well. So just trying
Mhm.
to keep up that pace, being married, getting married and just trying to navigate all those different roles, wife, and then I'm a stepmom, and so all those roles I think just were a lot.
It's so interesting that you say that because sometimes we're like, why can't I get it done? I finally have a day to get it done, but then you have to think about it. You worked 5 days a week. You
Mhm.
probably had a commute to your job and then a commute back home. You're probably making dinner for the kids. And then, so really, you only have maybe a few hours on a Saturday or a Sunday to try to get everything done that you pushed off until the weekend. And I think sometimes when we look at it like that, we have to start giving ourselves some grace. We're not going to be able to get everything done in about 4 or 5 hours once a week.
Yes. And that's what I'm doing right now. I know a lot of readers want to know what I'm doing next, but I am giving myself this grace to, hey,
Yes.
hit this milestone
Yeah,
after 20 years
amazing.
of being in the business and trying to stay relevant. Somehow I managed to do that in 20 years with all the highs and the lows and the flows and of the publishing industry. And so I'm just trying to give myself, whether that's 6 months or a year, to
Mm-hmm.
just refresh. I still love writing. I still love reading. I'm still reading. Even though I may not be writing, I'm still reading. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
my love of books hasn't gone away. I just need a little break where I don't feel pressure or
Yes.
deadlines. And so I just need a little grace to just like woosha. And so
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing now. So I guess if I had any advice, I would, as Rhonda said, give ourselves grace, because I have been putting in 8 to 10 hour days on Saturdays and Sundays to finish the books that you see here.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
wasn't easy to get here. I'm very proud of them. I love what I've been able to do. But, you know, it took a little bit of a toll mentally and physically. And so I'm just taking a little break. And you're seeing me travel a little bit more the last year or so. And so that's bringing me a little bit of joy and spending some time with my husband and family. And so that's what I'm doing right now to help overcome that writer's block.
Yeah. And all
Well,
of these
awesome.
trips are could be settings,
I
for
That's true.
story.
A
That's
couple
true. It's
ideas.
research. It's
Yes.
research.
A couple of ideas came up. I was sitting in Aruba, and my husband and I were on having this sunset dinner on the beach, and I was like, "This is a scene in one of my books. This
Yeah.
straight up scene in one of my. I like saw it in my mind's eye. So I was like, you know, I was taking pictures of the moment, trying to capture it. So if I ever wanted to like come back and try to, you know, the touch, the taste, the sound of the moment. But yeah, I definitely think, you know, it will help spark, because already I've put a couple of ideas. I put I use my notes. I think I have like 500 notes, but I'll put
Hmm.
notes of book ideas or things or things that I want to come back to. I even
The
have a
notes app on your phone, or do you write them down?
I put it in my phone. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I put it in the notes on my phone because I can do it, you know, quick and easy. And you know, it's easy for me to go back to at any given moment. So yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I'm always thinking of things. But sometimes I get my best ideas while I'm sitting in church trying to listen to the sermon and sing along with the choir. And all of a sudden these ideas start popping in my head, and I have to put them in my notes app and file them away for later, because I'm not
Absolutely.
about to be scrolling and researching while I'm trying to praise the Lord.
Sometimes I could be trying to fall asleep. I'll send myself
Yes.
voice note,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, and be like, hey, don't forget, you know, this idea you had about XYZ. You know, those are my ways between using the voice notes and just, you know, voice to text what the idea was in my head. You know, that's how
Hmm.
I keep up with keeping the ideas. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the way to do it. I love it. See, we are kindred spirits in this way.
It sounds like it. Yes. Very similar. Very similar.
Yeah. So when you first started, did you envision getting to 50?
Absolutely not. You know, when you first get started, I remember going to Romance Slam Jam and being so nervous to sit there across from Chandra Sparks Taylor at the time. She's an author now, but you know, she was an editor at the time with BET Books. And I remember being so nervous. And, you know, I just wanted to get that first book deal. So,
Yes.
you know, I don't think I ever thought I would get to this moment. Once I got to 10, I was like, oh, 10, yes. And then 25. And then there was a long time between 25 and 50.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, I would give myself like little increments, basically.
Hmm.
Okay.
Say, okay, you got through 10, 25, and then my next one was 50. So yeah, that was a long break in there. But yeah, I don't think when I published that first book, One Magic Moment, I thought I'd ever get to see, you know, 50 with Breakpoint.
So it was called One Magic Moment.
One
So
Magic Moment.
have you self-published any books, or are they all
I
through this
have.
publisher?
I've self-published probably about 13. My
Oh, okay. Okay.
last self-published series was called The Mitchell Brothers. It was
Hmm.
based, my husband is, a retired veteran, uh, after serving 21 years. Um, and so I came up with the idea, and each of his brothers, so to add to that, each of his brothers served in a different branch. So my husband was
Oh,
Army, my brother-in-law was Marines, and my
I
other
love
brother was
that.
Navy.
That's a
So I
story right there.
that's a
mhm.
story. And so several
Okay.
years ago, I decided to start writing, doing, and I wanted to self-pub it and tell it the way I wanted to. I didn't want any,
Mhm.
interference. I knew exactly what I wanted to write. And so, yeah, I self-pubbed it. And so we had claimed by the hero, um, I'm getting seducing the seal and guarding his princess. Yes. Those are the three. So you can find both of the Mitchell brother, all three Mitchell Brothers series on Amazon. So
So, how do you choose what you want to self-publish and what you're going to traditionally publish?
good question. With that particular series, I just knew I wanted a longer book. And at the time when I was writing back then, when I started that series, Harlequin was only doing like 55,000 words. And
Okay.
I knew those stories were going to be 75, 80,000 words. And
Mhm.
so I wasn't going to sell that to them knowing that I had a bigger book, in my heart to write. And so I decided to self-pub that one. Earlier on, I did another very long series of 7 books. People probably don't even, it's called the Heart series. I started out with the first 4 books. And then fans really liked it. So then I expanded it to some cousins and I did another little trilogy of 3 books to add on to that one. So, and that one was when, it was real, self-publishing was really hot. And
Right.
money was like falling out of the trees. And I was like, oh yeah, I gotta, get with the time. So I did those, but my Mitchell Brothers series was my last few or the last couple of years that I did self-pub.
Okay.
And
Now
I think,
somebody
oh,
made
I
a
want to add one
comment.
more thing. I'll add one
Oh,
more thing to that. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Is that I do think I might do a little bit more self-pub in the future just because I just I don't want any limits.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I think there's just some stories in my head that I want to tell that I don't want any limits or restrictions on how I tell it. So I think I have a few more in me that are going to be self-pub.
Okay. Well, that's why I self-publish. But someone had a statement, and I'm thinking maybe you can respond to it
Sure.
from your experience. She said she has 4. Vanessa Roden is her name. She says, I have 4 unpublished books on my table. I don't know what I'm waiting for. So, someone who's written books and they haven't pulled the trigger on them yet for whatever reason, um, what advice can you lend as far as making the first step towards being published? Either, the traditional route or the self-publishing route, since you've done both.
Yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
would, if she wants to go the traditional route, I would just make sure, she's really, gone through it with a fine-tooth comb and had, some readers, some beta readers read it,
Hmm.
and get some feedback before, she submits and puts out that query letter and it's been a while since I've had to do a query letter. That was like
Stop
2020.
bragging now. Stop bragging.
What is it? But the three sample chapters, do they still do 3 sample chapters?
I
I gotta
think
age
so.
myself.
I think from the ages that have been on the show, I think that
Yeah.
is still a thing.
But if she's gonna self-pub, finding a good editor, reaching out in the community, if she gets a good editor, I still think having beta readers is very important as a new author, to make sure you're finding your voice. But if she can find a good editor before she puts it out there, because you always want to put out your best work. You never want
Right.
to get
Yes.
slammed on Amazon with the reviews. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost, is it better to have no reviews at all or mixed reviews?
oh,
Few mixed reviews.
I mean, I think
What do you
I've
think?
had a mix of, I mean, I most of my books do 4 to 5 stars, but occasionally there's a 2 or 3 star.
Yeah, we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea.
We're not, yeah, it's just not going to suit everyone, and that's fine,
Yeah,
as long as,
and shouts out to the trolls because there's always going to be a troll who feels like they have to bring you back down to earth. So
right.
they're going to purposely give you a 1 star review or a 2 star review and not tell you why. They're just going to put the
Yeah,
stars
they just
and
put,
run off.
I hate those. Yeah, those really upset me. I'm like, tell me why.
That's what I'm saying. I don't have a problem if you didn't like my book, but at least tell me why. Maybe I can learn from it.
Right. Improve. What do I need to, is it story or plot,
Right.
characterization? What do I need? What was missing or the missing piece? So,
Yeah, especially if it's less than a three. If it's a one or a two,
yeah,
they should tell you why.
absolutely.
Not just do a drive-by bad rating.
Absolutely. I agree with
So,
you.
if you're gonna do it, put it out there. At least have the spine or the courage of your convictions to say what
Mm-hmm.
it is.
I agree with you, Gwen. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you don't have you're waiting, you're on a hiatus, so to speak now. After 50, you're gonna be celebrating 50 for a while, which is worthy of celebration for sure. And
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna get to 50, but who knows?
You never know. You
Yeah,
just,
I'm at 15 and I don't, but I'm thinking I'm gonna have two books come out this year. But see, I have a mixture of genres, so I'm
mhm.
gonna have one children's book in my series, and then I have a nonfiction book that I'm working on.
Yeah. I have
So
24, but I'm gonna have 25 by the end of the year because I want to do a holiday novel, or a holiday novella, I should say.
I love holiday novellas. Now that
Yes.
would make me want to write. Maybe something
okay,
short and fun that I could just write something quick and dirty,
Yes.
10,000 words and we're out,
It's a
So
short
that
story.
it would come that comes very easy to me because I would tell people I could write, when I'm having a good day writing in my, little she study here, I can write 25 to 50 pages in a day. So yeah, when
that's
I'm
good.
zone.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean
you have some
that's a good
time.
day. Do some sprint. Do writing. I mean, writing sprints are a thing now. You know, I mean, I've just recently learned about them, but I'm reading up on them a little bit more.
Okay.
Let's say for you just straight write. No interruptions, no phone, no TV. Just write for 30 minutes. And if you do those writing sprints, maybe like every couple of days, you can get your book done pretty quickly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna 30 minutes is gonna seem like a long time at first, but then the more you write, it's gonna seem like, oh, I'm ready, 30 minutes already. So,
Mhm.
but just keep doing it that way. So that's what I think I'm gonna do is to start my novella because I already know what the story is gonna be. I
Yeah.
just have to start writing.
Yeah. And that's how you get it done.
Well, we're
Absolutely.
at the end of our time,
Well,
Yara.
show us the book again
Oh
before
Yeah,
you leave.
what's the book one more time? It's
absolutely.
Breakpoint, and this is Yara's 50th book. So congratulations again on
Woo!
the milestone. And we were on the journey, part of the journey with you.
Yes, thank you for always supporting me. I appreciate it so much.
Well,
You're
we
welcome.
appreciate you putting out quality stories and we congratulate you for everything that you're doing in the industry.
Thank you. Thank you, Rhonda and Glenn.
All right. Have a great night.
You too.
Bye.